got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Is everybody ready? Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Jane Pope.
Present.
Aaron Cook.
Here.
Bill Bruner.
Here.
Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Doug Taylor.
Here.
Police Chief Gene Hunnefeld.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. EMS Director Bobby Mills. Leslie Votal, Attorney.
Here.
Mel Davis, Utility Director.
Here.
The Mayor.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes of the previous meeting.
We didn't have any parks minutes, did we?
The last one.
That was in the last one.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Committee reports? Hearing none, move on to new business. Joey Lynch, waive fees for Agner Hall for Relay of Life event.
Hello, my name's Kimberly Elliott, and this is Joey Lynch, and we're here tonight representing Bev's Boisterous Bunch Relay for Life team. This year will be our 11th year participating in the Dearborn and Ohio County Relay for Life. Each year we do several fundraisers throughout the year, and the reason we're here this evening is to ask you for consideration of waiving the traditional renter fee at Agner Hall for an event we plan to host in April. Last year, this actually will be our third year having the event which we called a spring shopping spree. Last year at our spring shopping spree, we raised about $1,200. All of the money that's raised is donated to Bev's Boisterous Bunch Relay for Life team, which then goes to the Dearborn, Ohio County Relay for Life, which ultimately benefits the American Cancer Society.
Anything on the board?
What date is it you've got it scheduled for?
Tentatively, it's scheduled for Saturday, April 20th.
And Jackie's already got that date?
Yeah, Joey's already talked to me.
I'll make a motion to waive the fees.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
You will have to put up the $200 deposit, okay? Okay, and then you'll get it back if you, as long as you don't destroy the place. Okay.
Thank you.
Katie Cowan, waive fees for Agner Hall for Hawksworth Blood Drive. Did I get that name right?
It's Katie Glon,
Glon.
but that's all right. My maiden name was easier. I passed out these. Did anyone else? I didn't. Everyone on council got one of those. So this actually will be, if you permit us, our second year to have blood drives at Agner Hall. We actually did 4 drives in 2012, and it kind of shows how many units we've collected. Obviously, October was the best drive that we had there with 38 units. I do have 5 drives scheduled for 2013 that I've already worked with Teresa in the clerk treasurer's office to get those dates set up. So wanted to see if you would be so kind to waive the rental fees again for our second year doing drives at Agner Hall.
Anything on the board?
The dates are already set, and it's 5 different dates?
Yes, yeah, we have March 20th, June 5th, August 14th, October 24th, and December 19th.
I'll make a motion, we waive the fees.
Your second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Great.
against?
Thank you, everyone.
Was Charlie Tedesco part of?
It was part of,
Was
Jill.
Charlie part of yours? Tedesco, no? No.
Oh, I guess Charlie just didn't have anything behind him.
Not here.
Charlie here?
No,
Didn't have anything behind it, what it was.
I don't know.
Okay. You call back. Any old business? Hearing none, review and discuss claims board approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Utility in 5 minutes.
Board of Works.
Board of Works. Thank you, Jack.
Keep trying to,
Trying to get you out of here.
hey, one of these nights, I'm gonna let you.
Good.
That's all right, I'll go back to the other one.
I know.
It's the first year he didn't. Played basketball since 5th grade up until this year, but baseball and football is too much right now. Basketball, he gets up like 6 something, he'll get home like 9 at night. You weren't here last time we talked about it. They said you were hoping you were here last time 'cause everybody talked about how important it is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yes. We could just skip. Donnie? I'm okay, how are you?
Budget
What?
should be approved tonight. Money will be there so when the warm weather comes.
On that, right?
Get up.
To be honest.
He said he heard you about religion and you're going to church every day.
That's come from a good source now. I've been going on Sunday. That's come from a good source.
Well,
Hey,
go for me, will you?
when you walk in, you look up.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll make it out somehow.
I've been doing it over there. Ain't gonna hurt you. Ain't gonna hurt you, sir.
Say I hope.
Good. I heard that's
No, I passed them on.
We got a pension board meeting at the police station Monday.
About the sign.
As soon as we get the budget approved and everything
On
passed.
which pool, the city pool?
Same bell.
Oh, okay.
All I know is
Okay,
so
my
Gus is
goodness.
dead.
Well,
Get that one count.
He got some drafts sprinters, I'll show you this.
I didn't watch it. I kept tuning in to check the score.
I'll tell you what, there was a lot of hope in that game, both sides, both sides.
Alright, but I'll be able to look at it before you sign it.
Coke bottle radio.
Got you one. No, I don't want it.
He just won a bunch of money. Charge him.
Don't tell me, Jack, you on my side.
I'm sorry I had to say it. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Johnny, ready?
Yeah, you ready?
Call the meeting order. Roll call, please.
Donnie Bryant.
Present.
Mario Todd.
Here.
Aaron Cook.
Here.
Bill Bruner.
Present.
Mayor.
Here.
Leslie Votaw.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes of previous meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Hearing none, new business, Leslie Votaw County EMS agreement and building inspector agreement.
Bobby Mills had brought this to us about a contract for emergency medical service. I guess this is something that's done every year. Last year was the first year the Board of Works ever signed, along with Bobby Mills. He also signed it. If you see the second page, it's not correct in that respect. But the reason I have it in front of you is to basically
Approve it.
approve it. Yeah. So, like I said, I think you've received 40,000 now for many years, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And that goes into your, as you explained, to your non-reverting fund. So, I really think that this should be interlocal because it's between two governmental entities. We can proceed, they've proceeded this way for years and years. So I'll leave it up to the board to decide that, but it is something that we need to get accomplished, so.
Well, if it's gotta be interlocal, shouldn't we pass it on interlocal?
I mean, that's my feeling. In talking to the county attorney, he felt that he would open up a can of worms because they don't do interlocals with any other Aurora or, any of the other EMSs, so.
Basically, it's just a contract, so it is.
And as we've gone over many times this year, it does not say, it doesn't say subject to appropriations. Of course, we're not paying it, the county's paying it, but does it state that? That it's subject to appropriation? It doesn't state that in here.
We've been signing contracts as long as I've been in the squad. Wording in that contract, I changed the wording here 2005 up to this date. We used the wording that actually was sent out was voluntary organization. So we're voluntary organization. So as a state department, the city of Lawrenceburg.
Right.
They've been accepting that
And it was a little different too, I guess, too, when you didn't have the department, right? I mean,
Yeah, the only ones used to sign it was the president of the organization and the secretary.
right. But
And I believe last year is the first year that actually the Board of Works started signing it, because under the last administration, they just run it.
That's a contract that should go in front of the Board of Works.
yeah, and that's what happened last year. And he changed it to Board of Works on the back page. I'll proceed however you want. I just think that it is between two governmental entities, and I really think that it should be an interlocal. It should be recorded. Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby, is this predominantly for Perfects?
No, this is, every unit in the county gets this contract. They give 20,000 per unit, a maximum of 2 units. So we get $40,000. That's just our part of the county, part of the government that we get.
Basically, counties,
And Aaron, the county contracts with all the groups that have Life Squad units. Manchester, right?
We kind of agree that.
Cover each other.
911 wants to send us to Dillsboro, we basically got to do it.
Yeah.
Because, Dillsboro unit might be in Lawrenceburg, right?
county's actually responsible for the money.
The agreement that we agreed to go anywhere in the county that they send us, plus we're paying us to do it.
Wanna wait till then, have them?
Do it and
Yeah, bring it back.
Is there any time frame on this? Have they given you?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Okay.
They'll
I'll
do
just
Money's gonna
prepare.
be there, it's just, now I understand this year they want to set, myself or the president of the big squad. I guess they want to talk to us about what we're doing with the money, or what's the future of the organization. We got some people. We had no problem.
Okay. Well, I'll do that.
Oh,
But
We'll get
the
back
money
to
is
it.
there.
Okay.
Probably next meeting?
I'm sorry.
Next meeting for interlocal?
Sure.
Okay.
Then we have the second building inspector agreement, which is, this is the interlocal cooperation agreement between the city of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, and the city of Greendale, Dearborn County, Indiana, for the provision of building inspector services. The council last time did pass, did give us the okay to go to enter into this interlocal. I spoke with Mr. Butler, and there were some changes in order for it to be recordable that I made. But other than that, it's still being signed by both mayors and attested by both clerk treasurers. But the bulk of it, the meat of it did not change. Nothing changed there, so. Yes. So, as I stated, this agreement between the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, and Indiana Municipal Corporation, the City of Greendale, Dearborn County, Indiana Municipal Corporation, Greendale, is made this blank day of February 2013. Whereas Lawrenceburg and Greendale are both political subdivisions within the meaning of the code, Indiana Code Section 36-1-7-1 at sec, concerning interlocal cooperation, and whereas Lawrenceburg and Greendale may each exercise the power to regulate building within their respective corporate limits, including the employment of a building inspector to administer the respective building regulations, and whereas pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-1-7-1 subsection A, Lawrenceburg and Greendale may agree that such power be exercised by one of them on behalf of the other, and whereas Greendale does not now have a building inspector as contemplated under the Greendale Municipal Code, particularly Greendale Municipal Code Chapter 150 Building Regulations, to administer its building regulations, and whereas Lawrenceburg has a building inspector to administer its building regulations, that could also administer Greendale's building regulations, and whereas Lawrenceburg and Greendale wish to agree that Lawrenceburg shall exercise the power to regulate building within the corporate limits of Greendale on behalf of Greendale as herein agreed. Now, therefore, in consideration of the mutual promises and covenants herein made, Lawrenceburg and Greendale hereby agree as follows. Section 1, purpose. The purpose of this joint undertaking is to authorize Lawrenceburg to exercise the power to regulate building within the corporate limits of Greendale. On behalf of Greendale is here and provided, Lawrenceburg shall provide a building inspector to administer Greendale's building regulations as provided in Greendale Municipal Code, particularly Chapter 150 Building Regulations. More specifically, the building inspector shall, 1, assist people applying for building permits, 2, review building permit applications, 3, issue building permits if the building permit application shows all work proposed to be done pursuant to the permit will be done in full compliance with Greendale Municipal Code. 4, report the issuance and denial of building permits in writing to Greendale City Manager. 5, conduct inspections. 6, conduct re-inspections. 7, issue stop orders. 8, report the issuance of stop orders in writing to Greendale City Manager. 9, authorize work to continue. 10, report the authorization of work to continue in writing to Greendale City Manager. 11, issue certificates of occupancy upon approval of Greendale City Manager. 12, report the issuance and denial of certificate of occupancy in writing to Greendale City Manager. 13, perform all other functions customary of a building inspector not inconsistent with Greendale Municipal Code. And 14, keep an accurate record of everything he or she does. All is provided in Greendale Municipal Code, particularly Chapter 150 Building Regulation, and as provided in all other applicable state and federal laws and regulations, as any of these may hereafter be amended. Section 2, Administration. A, Financing. Financing for this joint undertaking shall be solely through Lawrenceburg collection of fees as provided by Greendale Municipal Code, Section 150.08. The duty to receive, disperse, and account for all monies of this joint undertaking is delegated to the Clerk Treasurer of Lawrenceburg. B, Staffing. Staffing for this joint undertaking shall be determined by Lawrenceburg subject to the approval of Greendale, but shall be sufficient to efficiently administer Greendale's building regulations. C, Supplying. Supplying this joint undertaking shall be determined by Lawrenceburg, but shall be sufficient to efficiently administer Greendale's building regulations. D, Budget. Any budget necessary for this joint undertaking shall be established and maintained by Lawrenceburg. Section 3, Board. This joint undertaking shall be administered through a joint board composed of 1 representative designated by Lawrenceburg and 1 representative designated by Greendale. Section 4, Property. The manner of acquiring, holding, and disposing of real and personal property used in this joint undertaking shall be determined by Lawrenceburg. Section 5, Termination. This agreement may be terminated by either party at any time upon written actual notice to the other party. Section 6, Duration. This joint undertaking shall endure until it is terminated by either party. Section should say 7, I believe.
Yes.
Section 7, Responsibility for personnel. Lawrenceburg shall be responsible for the conduct of the building inspector and any other personnel used by Lawrenceburg pursuant to this joint undertaking. Given the above, the signatures affixed below indicate that the appropriate officials have the authority to enter into this agreement and have passed the appropriate legislation to authorize their signing and entering into this agreement. And witness whereof the parties hereto have signed their names below.
Any questions?
Carl, you all right with this? I have nothing, Your Honor.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
That tonight too.
Here. Did you sign one? We need to probably sign 2. I'm taking yours too.
Okay, that's fine.
Leslie, we'll sign 2 of them and then they'll have the original signatures.
One to give to them.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you want to just give those signed copies to me, I'll make
Okay.
sure they get to Greendale.
There's that one. Excuse me. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
But they didn't have an ink pen. Okay. Moving on to the old business. Hearing none, reviewing stress claims.
One thing, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Unless we're gonna
Oh.
vote on.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That was under old business. There are, I did prepare conflict of interest forms, uniform conflict of interest form disclosure statements for all the Board of Works members. The mayor has signed them as the appointor of the appointees. And so they just need to vote on to accept those, approve those conflict of interest forms.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
And I'll
Abstain from the ones that
Our own.
are,
We abstain for our own, but
if you want me to go in through them individually?
I think it'd be best.
Okay, sorry. So Mario, Taz, and conflict of interest form should pass it or not. I guess you need to put that into a motion.
Your motion?
So move.
Oh, you're going to do them individually?
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
know
okay.
those now. Aye.
Okay,
Ayes have it.
I abstain.
I meant. Who made the motion?
I did.
Bill, okay. Who seconded?
Me,
Aaron.
I think.
Okay. Okay, Mario abstained.
Next.
Aaron Cook. You need to make a motion.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
No, I abstain on that.
Ayes
Bill
have it.
Brunner.
Bill Brunner,
Yeah.
entertain a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. Myself?
He's up. Wait a minute. Going too fast. Okay,
Entertain a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
okay,
All in favor?
Mm.
I can't vote anyway.
yeah.
For Donnie Bryant, entertain a motion?
So move.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Abstain.
Yeah,
Ayes have it.
Thank you, Mario, for bringing that up.
okay.
Any more old business? Hearing none. Review and discuss claims board approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Motion adjournment.
So moved.
Yes.
I have a couple of items for the skipped over committee report.
Yes, I did.
No, he asked for them and you didn't say anything, dear.
Oh, usually.
That's okay. That's okay, we'll go back to you.
I'm just-
Trying to rush these out of here, it's bad outside.
I just passed out some information to everybody, just to
Oh,
inside things in the police department. I just want to make note of the front page. You'll see the Dearborn County Communications E911 Center, the police call stats for 2012. You'll see that the police department E911 fielded 6,644 calls for the Lawrenceburg Police Department. That wouldn't include all the calls made to the business office at 349 Walnut. What we try to do is we try to forward as many as we can to the communications board so that there's record of it in the computer. Some of them probably get missed. It also wouldn't include activity by the detectives. It would just be calls from citizens for the police officers on the The only other item I have is the police department was contacted by the principal at South Dearborn Elementary. He was asking if the police department had any old computers that we weren't using that could be donated. We have 12 towers and 12 monitors that placed aren't being used, or to have a problem with those being donated to the children at South Dearborn Elementary.
What's the board's pleasure?
I have no problem, Your Honor.
A motion?
I make a motion.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing else.
Your runs is almost as much as the whole county. You have a lot of runs.
That's correct. We're quite active.
They're 7721 and you're 6644. Pretty close. Thank you, Gene. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
The only thing I have, I left my monthly run totals at the office, but 47 runs for last month. I'll get the. Also, within this month, we'll be starting to conduct life safety inspections for. And that's going to help meet the requirement. Part of our city ordinance.
When's the new fire truck gonna arrive?
It's 5 weeks early, so 1st of April. We'll have
Okay. Any more?
No.
Thank you. EMS Bobby Mills. Thank you. Now let's go back to adjournment.
okay.
Entertain a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry. Mario. Well, they I got the second.
Motion carried.
Okay.
Utility board, 5 minutes.
be the primary.
Roads are bad.
Okay, this.
Yeah,
Freeze.
No, I don't have a preference. That's up to you guys.
I've never been in them with you. I've been in a couple.
Did you get it?
All right, it's cold in there.
Hey, Gene, is the hill okay? Oh, well, we had all that snow, so I said they closed it. Oh. Okay.
I don't think it snowed. The next one down.
Hasn't snowed since, but I mean, did they, it's okay though to, okay. Thank you. Well, where's the salt? Where's that guy? He called me too.
That's why
Well, tough.
And wherever the buildings are, it's pretty big.
It's kind of like a little party area down here.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what
I said, you guys should. He kind of said it too, that
you know,
they should have got
those
together
were bad.
beforehand, maybe one big building, had like.
Oh, that's what Dina said, it came up on her. And it would have come on mine too if I'd looked, but I thought, hey, at this point, it's too late. Oh, yeah.
Like that talking.
Everybody that lives there moved. They're all like.
Have I seen it?
On the river.
Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Jane Pope.
Present.
Aaron Cook.
Here.
Bill Bruner.
Present.
Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Doug Taylor.
Here.
Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Mel Davis, Utility Director.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes of previous meeting.
So move.
Your second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Committee reports.
Your Honor, I will forego my committee report this evening and get right to new business, if that's okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Ready? This evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have two people from Cincinnati Bell to make a presentation to the Utility Board about establishing broadband service to the city of Lawrenceburg. We have been working on this for about 4 years, maybe longer, and we finally reached a point where I think we're ready to present this to the board for your consideration. So I'll let you guys take over.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Sure.
Mayor.
Yes, would you state your
Council
name,
members.
please?
Yes, state your name, please.
My name's Dave Korb, and I'm with Cincinnati Bell.
Thank you.
Kermit Lovelace.
How do you spell your last name?
K-O-R-B.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And,
What's your first name?
Dave.
Okay.
Mine?
How you doing, Kermit?
Is that Kermit Lovelace?
Okay.
Thank you.
First, thank you very much for making time on the agenda for us. As Mr. Davis has stated, we've been here recently over the last 6 months having lots of discussions in the community with businesses, both medium-sized and large businesses, about revisiting our intentions to bring our services, Cincinnati Bell services, to the community. So this is a very short overview that we've handed out that gives you an idea of really who we are. I'm probably sure that most of you know what Cincinnati Bell does, but it is a bit of a perspective because the company's grown in terms of its service offerings over the last 15 years, and there are some even new areas of growth that we are pursuing, and we call those out. We've become very involved in managing data centers for large enterprise customers, IT outsourcing for small, medium, large businesses. And we are expanding. Since we're landlocked, we've got to figure out a way to grow, and that's to begin to kind of take our services outside our geographic area. We've been up in Dayton for a number of years, and we had a plan to be here, as I think Mel had stated earlier, and at the time we were not able to execute on that plan. Largely had to do with our available investment. in capital. We're in a much better place now, and we would like to be able to give you some additional highlights on, what it is we intend to do. And I'll get to that very shortly. But we are in the wireless business. We're in the voice and the data business, both voice over the internet, which is a rather new technology that is being adopted by businesses. We have a long-distance business and a wide-area network, so we can take our customers outside of Cincinnati and across the United States. That's pretty common, nothing special there. Most recently, we've gotten into the entertainment business so we can compete with the cable companies. So we have a suite of services in cable TV. Really, our portfolio is a end-to-end kind of solution for businesses and consumers in either communication, voice communication, or in technology. The company's not that large. It's right at $1.5 billion dollars, and it's 137 years old. There are 3,200 employees at Cincinnati Bell, and most of those are folks, union folks that are keeping care of our customers and customer service, and in our truck rolls and our department that cares for the monitoring of all of our network operations. We have dedicated account teams that that we actually assign to different kinds of customers depending on their size. The second page highlights why southeastern Indiana. I think for us, I've stated that we're looking to figure out how we can most efficiently go outside of our traditional Cincinnati Bell telephone territory. We're a CLEC in a number of surrounding adjacent areas, and we'd like to be here in Lawrenceburg. So our network, which you'll find shortly here on a map that highlights what that local area is, you'll be able to get a feeling for what the calling area or the service area is. That network continues to expand. It's really driven by the demand of our customers, and we have a number of customers that are here in Lawrenceburg and have asked us to provide service to them. We'd like to provide service to them, and we have a very kind of straightforward solution, which is a loop off of our existing network to do that. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about that. The next page does describe our network, or if you will, our geographic area, and this is for local calling. So in the event that you would like to have Cincinnati Bell provide services to the community, you'd be able to call with inside of this calling area as if it were a local call. I'm not sure that it's important to you, but we have subsidiaries that actually are, in the regulatory scheme of utilities that have been established to be able to allow us to do this. But I think the most important part is that we're extending the Cincinnati footprint and would like to extend it into Lawrenceburg. It's not uncommon for us to also partner with the existing provider where we have to. CenturyLink is the provider here in Lawrenceburg, and there would be some activity that we would have and some agreements we would have with them to be able to do this in a seamless way. Probably the most important reason is the benefits of what Cincinnati Bell has to offer to the community. So this highlights some of those benefits. Effectively, phase one for us would be to go and present ourselves to most of the medium-sized to large enterprise that need broadband and are interested in higher speed broadband and are interested in some of the newer technologies such as voice over the internet. Once we're able to kind of stand that up, that set of revenue and those customers, it's our intentions to be able to come back to the city council and to describe, what phase 2 would look like. Because we've been asked to, what our plan is, and if our plan included serving the entire community, which would be the residential customers. So we have many more residential customers in Cincinnati than we have businesses. So it's quite natural for us to want to serve the residential customer. The business case, though, is stacked with enough capital that we've already had approved and are prepared to deploy. We need to begin to be sure that some of the businesses that are much more kind of aligned for these services are interested. And again, we have, visited with many in local businesses to be sure that, they in fact would like to be able to, have some options besides the current options. And I think that can only be good because we were invited out to the hospital originally to meet with the former CEO, and then subsequently we've met with Roger. We've done an audit of their entire telecom operation and had provided back to them the results. And the savings that the hospital would use on existing services or would realize would be just at 25%. So we know there's a significant savings for all businesses and potentially down the road consumers as well by having choices. It's probably the #1 reason we got into the entertainment business, because in Cincinnati and in the northern Kentucky area, there's really just Time Warner Cable and Insight and the satellite providers. So I think, we've done, I think, very well over a short period of time by being an alternative and another value proposition. As I said, we're currently installing circuits in some of our existing customer locations, only we're actually wholesaling those through the current provider. So that's not the most efficient way to be able to deliver a good a value proposition, but nevertheless, our customers have asked us many times, if we could do whatever we can do to be able to help them as they expand. So that brings us to really what we want to or need to ask you for your support. And Kermit, if you'll just kind of work through that for us, that'd be great. Are there any questions that I could answer? Okay, Kermit?
Yeah, my name is Kermit Lovelace. I am the Director of Business Operations for Cincinnati Bell. And as Dave said, in a nutshell, we're looking to bring a competitive telecommunications alternative to the city of Lawrenceburg, the city of Greendale, and basically this corner of Indiana. As you probably already know, we are a local exchange provider in Indiana. We do extend our services up through the West Harrison area and down as far as the midpoint at Hidden Valley. We also have a significant competitive edge out. We have a large regional network that essentially extends from Cincinnati to Columbus through to Indianapolis and Chicago, and then down to Louisville, to which we also sell services to enterprise customers. We also are a national provider of certain services, including long-distance services, to both businesses and residences. What we have done in the past is successful edge-out strategies. I'll give you a couple of examples. Mason, Ohio being one of those, Dayton, Ohio another, where what we will typically do is build network out into those areas to touch points, back to touch points in our Cincinnati footprint, and we'll initially start to sell services to business customers in those areas. As we can get an anchor there and start paying for the network build out that we've done, then we typically, our typical fashion is to start selling services to residential customers, including telephony services and entertainment services. The last time I checked, we had roughly, just in the Mason and Dayton market, we had roughly 55,000 residential customers in those markets. So what do we need to do here? We've looked at this area several times and tried to figure out ways to build a network out here. We have identified the initial set of customers that we want to try to market to. As Dave mentioned, a fair number of enterprise customers here, large, medium, and small businesses. We've done a business case based on the business we think that we can get there. And that business case basically, in my company, we will go ask for money. And we have done that. We've secured what amounts to just short of $2 million in capital approved by my company to bring out here and build a network. We've done an initial network survey. That initial network survey essentially is a route where we would bring fiber optics that would attach to our network roughly at the corner of State Line Road and US 50. The other connect point is on Georgetown, basically out on Georgetown Road, Georgetown Ridge, at a place where we terminate and REMC begins. That route would come down in two directions and basically come down Oberdeen Road, cross the highway, come down through Greendale, by the industrial park there, and then into Lawrenceburg, roughly near the casino. And it does a little snaking through Lawrenceburg so that we can make sure that we have a core backbone, so that should we offer services to a broader set of customers, in other words, to residences at some point, we've got good connect points to go from. It also includes a small hub at a municipal building, the utilities building, that allows us to basically stage some equipment that sends signals back and forth to the network. It would connect with the CenturyLink central office so that we could get some vital connection services we need there. Specifically, should we sell to somebody and you want to and do local calling, then we have to connect to that office to do that. It would then go on up over the hill to the medical centers, the hospital, and then back down over the hill to connect to Greendale again and back out to Georgetown. So we've determined the physical route. We have several contractors that we work with that do this build out to actually do the fiber optic deployment, hanging it on poles, running it underground, putting it through conduit, taking it into buildings. And we've given them the initial survey. I've also contacted CenturyLink and started negotiations for what's called an interconnection agreement, an agreement that they're required to do with us to exchange local services. What we have to do yet is essentially we need permission from you to hang our fiber optic cable on your poles and run it through your conduit and essentially run it through your right-of-way. We also need the same thing from the city of Greendale. We have draft agreements to both communities, and we're having those reviewed currently. Once those agreements, we cannot begin construction on this until those agreements are completed. In other words, we can't hang anything on your poles without your permission. So once we do that, then we will notify the contractor. The contractor will do the detailed field work. They'll come out pole by pole, site by site, look at what has to get done, how they're going to hang the poles, and then they'll begin construction. We anticipate that approximately 6 months from that time, we will begin to turn the network on and offer service. So essentially what we're asking of you this evening is to give your permission for my company to complete that agreement with your Director of Utilities, subject to review by your legal counsel, and basically sign those agreements so that we can get started.
Question, board?
How does that work as far as the connections on the poles? I mean, is Lawrenceburg, do they charge like for Comcast and all?
Yes.
What was the question?
The charge?
Charge like for all the poles that you're going to be hanging to as far as it's the city owns?
Yeah, I have an amended draft of the agreement to send to the parties, but essentially, yes. We will be renting space on your poles. Basically, the way these typically work is that we pay you a set fee per pole per year.
That's already been agreed upon, or is that just something that you all?
Yeah, that's something we're negotiating currently. I will tell you that the offer that we have on the table, Cincinnati Bell has approximately 360,000 poles. We have several set points on what we charge. What I'm offering to pay Lawrenceburg is the highest rate that we charge our customers.
How many poles do we have?
I'm not sure how many poles they're going to contact until I see the prints.
I can help a little bit.
Go right ahead.
I actually drove the route, the tentative route. Within a row of apple trees, I counted about 188 poles. Now, I can't say that that's exactly right because we might be changing the route a little bit here, a little bit there, but within a row of apple trees, it's about that number of poles for Lawrenceburg. I also counted about 185 for Greendale. And I stopped counting when we hit REMC and Duke, because with REMC and Duke, we already have existing agreements with them by which we hang on each other's lines at a substantially reduced rate.
Not only this is for the business, residential part of it brings in cable TV. That's more competition with the cable TV we got now, maybe lowers the prices.
Exactly.
It's benefit to our customers. The broadband is going to be tremendous what it'll do for the city.
Yeah, we're trying to bring a broadband and data and telecom alternative, a competitive alternative to the city of Lawrenceburg. You know, initially, as I've mentioned, the initial funding we got is to build out and start to serve the businesses. We have a business plan then that my company expects us to work from that says, look, you said we've given you this $2 million to build this network, and you're going to sell services on it. That's where Dave and his team comes into play. We'll be gauged against how we're doing with the money that's been invested, and if we're doing well, if we're meeting that plan, if we're meeting that business plan that we said that we could do, then we'll go ask for more money to do more stuff.
How long do you think it would be before you'd be offering residential?
It's a good question. The answer is I can't tell you. I don't know. What I can tell you is for example, in Mason, we went into Mason with business service in 1999. We didn't do our first residential service there until, and that was our first build out. We didn't do our first residential service until 2004. However, then we did a build out in Dayton, and we started selling to businesses in Dayton. Once we've gotten some more experience at doing this, we started selling to businesses in Dayton in 2003. By 2004, we were selling to residences. So fairly quickly, we got to a place where we could offer residential service. Interestingly, when we got into broadband, and I'm talking very wide broadband internet service, similar to what you'd get from a cable company, and video services, for example, cable TV, the first place that we deployed that, the first place that we did it at all, wasn't in Cincinnati. The first place we did it was in Mason. And the reason for that is because that's where we had our newest network. You know, it's easier to build on something that's new than it is to convert something that's old. And what we're doing in Cincinnati is we're converting old network to new network to offer video and broadband. But in Mason, for example, as would be the case here, we start with a good solid fiber backbone. We're engineering this thing so that at which time we could start to offer broadband residential and video service, that it's an easier putt to make. And by the way, typically we target, when we do that, rather than building out street by street, which would require more talks and more agreements, we'll start at specific multi-dwelling units. apartment buildings and see how the sales go. And then we build out from there.
What you did in Dayton, can we hold you for Lawrenceburg?
I'm sorry?
What you did in Dayton residents, can we hold that for Lawrenceburg?
You can't, you wouldn't want it held for Lawrenceburg. And here's why.
Can't pin him down either.
What we did in Dayton, remember we did this back in 2004. So what we did in Dayton was the same old telephone service that you get today. The broadband service wasn't nearly as robust as we can offer with what we call our Phi Optic service.
When I met with you last, it's about what you said then. I tried to pin him down too, Mike.
Can I make one comment, Mayor?
Go ahead. Please go to the microphone, please.
You know, there's really two key strategic initiatives at the company. One is the continued investment in data centers. But the second one is in Phi Optics. And Phi Optics is just the brand name. Fiber to facilities, fiber to businesses and to homes. And we have to do this, you know, to be able to continue as a real business. So if you think about the executives of our company, they're going to probably be more anxious to get these services. All they want to be able to do is the initial investment, well, and that we've done a good job of actually, recruiting a set of customers where this revenue stream is looking good. Once they see that that's actually a viable business case, then they're going to be a lot more anxious in Dayton and in Mason. We've proven this out. This isn't an experiment for us. We've gone outside this inch-out strategy. So this is just quite frankly natural. And the hospitals, they have to have this because they're moving to electronic imaging across their entire operations. And they're not going to be able to operate fiber services.
My concluding remarks would be this. To my knowledge, we're probably the only company to have come to this area with a continued interest to offer a competing telecom service for this community. We have committed to make a fairly sizable investment to do so. We really just need permission to attach to your plant. We're willing to pay you to do that. The only person who's really inconvenienced is Mel, because his guys are going to have to go out there and maybe move a few cables around. And we need to firm up that agreement and make that happen. But we need your permission to allow us to move forward.
Kermit, if I may, I'd like to explain to the board how this transpired. A little over 4 years ago, Lawrenceburg was approached by a company that wanted to establish a call center that was going to employ roughly 150, 175 people. So during the negotiations, we talked about the telephone service that they would need. And I got a hold of the incumbent provider and also the incumbent entertainment provider to see what we could work up to serve these people. And we couldn't. We had the company sold. They were going to put a building in downtown, employ these people, but the people that served us with telecommunications service could not supply the necessary service to that company. So they went to Indianapolis. I got angry and called Cincinnati Bell and asked them if they would be interested in Southeast Indiana. And I didn't know that Kermit was from Southeast Indiana, and he said, well, sure. And so that's how the talks got started.
Right, and that was close to 4 years ago. And, as Mel mentioned, probably out of my many years, I would say probably close to 45 of them were spent in this community. From the time that we started competitive services, we've tried to look at ways to, bring a competing service to Lawrenceburg and to Greendale the way that we'd brought it to other places. So it looks like we're pretty close to being able to make that happen at this point.
and these negotiations have been sort of like a marriage. One day he gets mad at me and says, I'm not calling you anymore. Then he calls back, and the next day I say, well, I'm mad at you, and I'm not calling you anymore. So that's kind of the way it's gone for the past 4 years. But we have reached sort of a tentative agreement pending your approval.
What kind of prices for residential packages that you offer now to your other communities, communities that you serve, that you do offer residential packages to?
Sure, okay. I can talk to that sort of broadly because I'm more of an operations guy, but not down into the weeds. I can tell you that, for example, we offer a bare bones telephone package to our customers that's on the line of about $31 to $32. That's just plain old telephone service. That's probably not what we would be offering here. We'd be bringing our fiber optic service. We'd want to be selling. People care less about telephone than they care about broadband at this point, and video services, cable services. It's almost at this point like telephone is okay. We'll throw in the telephone on top of that. People are typically more interested in the broadband and cable. Basically, we have what I can tell you is that most of what we try to do is bundle services. So we try to typically, the same as you would see from Comcast or from CenturyLink, you'll see advertisements that say, we have this bundle for you of local telecom, internet, and television, and of various flavors. We do that in Cincinnati. I can tell you that I can state categorically that the packages that we sell in Cincinnati have lower price points than the incumbent cable provider and offer more in terms of, for example, high definition coverage up to 100 megabits, for example, of bandwidth for internet, et cetera, and again at a lower price point. What we have found is that our customers seem so eager, or the customers that we offer these services to seem so eager to get them, that within, I think it's about 6 months of the time that we, for example, go down a street, we get about 42% of the available households on that street, which is a pretty compelling and satisfying return for us. It's kind of a long-winded answer to your question. They're at least as competitive as the local provider and usually a little cheaper.
Can you keep your same telephone number?
Yes. Number portability. You're allowed to port numbers within what's called a rate center. So if you for example, if you were a residential customer at some point and you wanted to keep your telephone service, yes, you can port your number. Number porting is pretty standard.
We could actually get you some kind of consumer packages, but they do run anywhere between $19.99. A DSL line, an internet with a phone,
right,
and maybe
Right, but we wouldn't be offering DSL. We'd be offering whatever point we would be offering residential service. It would be the Fi optic service.
And not that it's a big deal, but where we have taken this, we've actually in a shorter period of time than 6 months. Specific, I have to go check. We're over 50 share, 50%.
That's. Yeah, that's
so
easy.
People, I think, got tired of having a cable company give them a price increase, at the end of every year.
Exactly.
And then
we haven't had increases in services gone down for businesses. We offer sports bars or hospitals that have. Well, our drops. That would be terminology. charge a drop per room. So we know we have to be competitive, and as the market share, or as long as I think they've kept records, we've been pretty committed.
And it would be a local phone call in to Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky?
Yeah, we've typically done that on all of our deployments, essentially. We offer what's called an expanded local calling area. Now, when we've talked to some of your businesses here, some have said, that's great, we would love to have a local expanded calling area. Some of your businesses have said, we couldn't care less. I'm not sure at whatever point we were able to offer residential service, I'm not sure if it's important to them or not. We think it might be. But at least it's a local call to Cincinnati. Typically, what's on that diagram is the expanse of our local calling area. You can pick up your phone and call anywhere within that shaded area, and that's a local call.
That'd be a big savings for a lot of businesses and residents.
But it all starts with hanging it on the poles. So, again, one more time, I need to ask, will you let us finalize those agreements, and subject to negotiations with Mel and approval of your council, so that we can move forward.
So make a motion to move on with the negotiations.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
And by the way, Kermit is a graduate of Lawrenceburg High School.
Yes.
And thank you all very much.
We're born.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I was a little older than he was.
okay.
Okay, moving on. Old business. Bill, have any?
No.
Hearing none. Review and discuss claims for board approval.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All rise.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can't we just touch the pole? That's where it was.
Flag moves. Got a moving flag. We're going to another.
We got another yeah, that's okay.
Roll call, please.
Jane Pope.
Present.
Aaron Cook.
Here.
Bill Bruner.
Present.
Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Doug Taylor.
Here.
Police Chief Gene Hunnefeld.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. EMS Director Bobby Mills. Attorney Leslie Botaw.
Here.
Mel Davis, Utility Director. Mayor, oh, he went out. Okay, Mayor, that's fine.
Yeah.
And myself.
Any announcements?
Yeah, I have one announcement. A few weeks ago, I contacted Nick Kyle, Barnes and Thornsburg, and tried to get a copy of all the documents inside the Lawrenceburg City Council client file. And here's I just want to read a summary of what he wrote me so the citizens would know. I take my direction from the president of the council, currently Mike Lawrence. I do not owe any particular duty to communicate directly with or share any information with any particular council member. Existing council client file materials belong to the council, not any of its constituent members. Accordingly, I am under no ethical obligation to accommodate your request of me to furnish you copies of all documents and all files. I just wanted to get that on public record.
Okay. Any more announcements?
I'd just like to thank you, Mayor, for getting those potholes taken care of on Industrial Drive.
That's a pretty good sized polo, too.
Yeah.
Okay, approved minutes, previous meeting.
I have one correction on that, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
On the January 22nd meeting, under Common Council, first page, committee reports.
Yeah.
Streets, alleys, curbs, it should be Aaron Cook. It says Bill Bruner.
Okay.
And that's all.
Sorry.
Entertain a motion?
I've got some corrections, Mayor. on a common council work session, January 17th, second page. It skips from one thing to the other, and I just wanted to verify. It says Jane Pope said she talked to Peggy Childers about the dedication can wait until the work is complete. That should be pertaining to George Street Park. And I intend to bring that up in the next month or so to finish the work at George Street Park.
Okay.
And then also, Mayor, I just got a question because I asked you this. Did we find out when the apartment buildings, the senior buildings will come back to the city of Lawrenceburg? Have you had a chance to get with Mick on that?
I'll check on that tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to do that today. Its time is getting close, because it was early 70s when they built them. And I was thinking it was 50 years they came back from. Not real sure. So I'll check and find out. It's not too far down the road, though.
Also, on the same one, page 7, it says Jane Pope commented that as the city's revenues decline, so will the revenues of the entities we share with. This includes the seniors, children, and the crime unit. I didn't mention the crime unit because I wasn't talking about appropriations. I was talking about revenue sharing that goes out on a regular basis. And then need to go to page 7, Common Council, December 22nd. Down, I'll do it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is actually the 1, 2, 3, 4 full paragraph. Ms. Pope also reported that was brought to her attention that yearly true-up revenue we receive from Hollywood Casino needs to be deposited into MDF fund and not the Riverboat Fund. This was agreed on by both Dan Hedden, Umbug, and Reedy Financial to do so, otherwise the MDF fund would be in the red. It's supposed to be deposited into Riverboat. The money was supposed to go into Riverboat. And
But
then
the true-up is the MDF budget.
the true-up, the motion was made on the next page. The motion to deposit the yearly true-up into the MDF fund is not correct.
Okay.
The motion to deposit the yearly true-up fund, the yearly true-up into the Riverboat Fund.
Okay.
And okay, that takes care of that part. So it's deposited into Riverboat, correct?
No, Suzanne, it should be deposited in the MDF, right?
Not
We made a motion.
No, I know the motion. I got what you said, okay.
Okay, so it will be deposited into Riverboat. Is that what we made?
I'll have to go look, because the Riverboat funds is the revenue sharing that we get from the boat every month, or so many months.
Now, I'm talking about the true-up.
I know.
We wanted to deposit it into Riverboat.
Well, then how are you gonna pay for your MDF budget? That's my question.
They both agreed that the money, if you wasn't here, but
I'll have to
Suzanne
get back
was
with
and
Dan.
Teresa was, they
Well, they
both
said
came
that there
and
was-
said there would be a surplus in MDF, even
Oh, okay.
after the budget.
He said, because I questioned it, that there was funds there for this
Okay.
year's budget.
Okay. Did he? Okay, that's fine.
I questioned it.
Okay. All right.
So I just want to make sure that the true-up will be deposited
Yeah.
into Riverboat.
Uh-huh.
And then we go on to page 8, motion to deposit the yearly true-up into the MDF fund should be corrected to Riverboat fund.
Mm-hmm.
And we go on to page 9. Statement number 3, the yearly true-up will be deposited into the MDF fund. It should read Riverboat fund.
Okay.
And then there's one more thing. I asked if I could have a copy of the arbitration award. And I don't know if the mayor said he would take care of that or Snyder said he would take care of that, but I haven't seen that yet either.
We're talking to Tony.
I was talking to Tony then. Is it his, do we have a copy of it?
He said that, I think he said at that meeting that
There were several copies.
there were several copies available.
And where would I get that at?
No, you don't have a copy.
Probably a copy upstairs. You got a copy?
No, I don't have a copy. But I'd like to have a copy.
We'll look, probably in the file upstairs.
Okay, we'll get copies of that. Then we go down to the bottom of the page. It starts at the motion to keep board salaries at $100 per month for all members. That was the motion made. I actually voted no.
Okay.
Down where it goes to roll call.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Mike voted yes.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to confirm on that with Mike.
Which one was that?
That's on the board pay to
Yeah.
make it $100 a month
Right. I
instead
voted
of per
yes.
meeting. Okay. All right. I got that too.
And then we go to the next page. I actually voted no on roll call vote, and Mike actually voted yes.
Is that the one we were just talking about?
There's 2 of them because we
Oh.
had to read it 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
It was an ordinance.
Okay. 28. Okay.
And I make a motion to accept the minutes with the corrections.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Committee reports, streets, island, curbs, Aaron Cook.
No report, Mayor.
Finance, Jane Pope.
I reviewed all claims and invoices and information's in the packet.
Fire Department, Bill Bruner.
No report.
Police Chief Gene Hunterfield.
Report, Mayor.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
No report, Mayor.
EMS Bobby Mills.
No report.
She reviewed them.
New business. Suzanne Ornoff, Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
Okay. Pass that down, please. Needs to be signed. Oh, okay, thank you.
I apologize right off the bat for my voice. I've had some laryngitis. But hopefully everybody received this on their packets. And it kind of explains why I'm here tonight.
Oh.
Did everybody get it?
Yeah, 'cause I did.
It's basically just a reminder, you've already graciously offered to sponsor a team. And now what's left is for you to decide, and I don't need that answer tonight, but you need to start thinking about it in the next week or so, who your 4-member team will be, and then you'd have to register online. Any questions?
As long as it's not me.
Or me.
Don't look at me.
I don't bowl.
I'm sure we can put a group together.
I haven't bowled for
Somebody
longer
can
than
do
that.
doubles.
We'll go if you bowl, I'll bowl.
I'm sure we have plenty of, we'll get a group together.
Been a long time since I threw the ball.
Pass
That's all
those back
for
to
good
Suzanne,
cause.
please, or down.
And we do thank you. We did get Greendale on board, City of Greendale. They have a team. There's another decision that you'll have to make, and that's what time you're going to choose. There's a adults only, that's the later time. And then there's the business and family friendly in the earlier time slot. It's just kind of, what you're going to go for. I think Greendale went with the later time, just to throw that out there. We didn't get the City of Aurora on board this time around, but maybe you guys can work on that and we can have a little friendly city fight there on the bowl.
We have any number of employees if we don't have, elected officials, employees that bowl, so
I
I'm
just
sure we
needed
could
to
get a
get it
team.
out there as a reminder because the time is coming up. And they have to get t-shirt sizes and you have to register online.
I can find out who bowls.
But if you have any questions, feel free to stop over there and ask me.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Kelly Raker, Hurricane Sandy relief.
Good evening. Sorry, Mike apologizes, he had a prior commitment. If I may, I bring these back up, I think my cousin back was grab one and pass it on. We came back in January to tell you about the fact that New Jersey and New York first responders have pretty much been forgotten about by the entire country. FEMA just was up there, promised these people who protect the community every day $30,000 loans, and 12% got $2,900. They were in and out in 48 hours. Only 52% of these individuals have electricity, let alone a home. The picture that you see on there is actually taken in December by one of our canine officers. That's a firefighter's house now up in New York. New Jersey's taken such as many hits. On February 23rd, we are having a fundraiser for them, and we are asking Lawrenceburg City Council to sponsor us with some kind of a financial donation. Nothing stays in Cincinnati, nothing stays in Hamilton County. Every penny we make goes north. Half of it's going to New Jersey and half of it's going to New York. We've already found funds and places where these first responders that are affected by this can apply to get loans and get money from these funds. Not only the loans, but also this money. We have we know we're not going to build a house out of this, and we're not going to save all these guys, but any way we can help them out, because I look at our communities and I remember devastation from the tornadoes, and yes, I am dating myself, back in the 70s. And I clearly remember that. I was a teenager, but clearly remember those devastations and the things that we have taken hits on. And these guys get up every single day, and they go out and they protect their community, and then they come home and they try to dig out. So you had said come back and see you in February, and that's why I'm here tonight. So thank you for your time.
Anything on board?
Mayor, when she was here last, I had suggested, and I know Chief Honeyfield wasn't here, but Assistant Chief was here, and I'd make a motion as far as the council give 1,000, and if the police department and the fire department would each consider giving 1,000 out of their budgets to go towards this, which will be a $3,000 donation towards this.
Doug, the police have already done something, haven't you, Gene? I thought Mike did something.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know how much, but I thought
I've already done.
If I remember right, by claims, it was $500.
Okay.
I think we already sent 500.
Okay.
So that's 1,000 for you guys? Well, then if they've done the 500, I would recant my motion to $2,000 from the council then for the silver medal sponsor for the $2,500 total.
Get that in the motion?
Is the fire department gonna
We did 500 also.
you did 500 also, so that would be a total of 3,000, Mike. I mean,
Well, that's what we
Doug,
said when it was here last time, it'd be 1,000 from
3,500.
each of us.
I'll agree with
200
that.
and their 1,000 would be at 3,000.
Made a motion, Jane, you second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Thank you very much. If
How
somebody
much-
could
how much
contact
was
me
your
with
motion
your
for?
logos.
2? Okay.
We would like to post your logos up
By
there
getting
for
cough
the evening.
drops.
Get with the
Well,
chief.
that-
Ricola.
Chief over
They're
there.
gonna
Okay.
come out of council
Sure will.
donation.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna
Council
ask that.
donation.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again for your time and your
What did you
donation.
say? What'd you say? What'd you say? Mike?
City logos.
City
Oh,
logos. and
City logos,
Fire
yeah.
department, police department logos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Leslie Biltall, ordinance to adopt for 2013 Riverboat, 2013 Municipal Development Fund, and ordinance to set council district boundaries.
If you don't mind, we'll start with the council district boundaries.
Okay.
That's in your packets. At the beginning of our code book, the district councils are listed. Those legal descriptions have changed when the council districts had to be changed due to the mandate from the 2010 census. And this is just amending that ordinance in order to put the new legal descriptions in there.
And Leslie, this matches the map we'd viewed earlier in the year.
Yes, the map and the plat, that's where the legal descriptions
Right.
came from.
I make a motion that we accept ordinance for the
gonna read
council
it?
district
You gotta read
boundaries.
it
I just
first.
gotta read it first.
Amendment to the ordinance Title I, Chapter 11 of the Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances, whereas the common council of the city of Lawrenceburg has authority pursuant to statutory and home rule powers to amend this ordinance, and whereas the common council now determines that amendment to the councilmanic district boundaries enacted as Section 1102 is necessary to align said section with the new council districts mandated by statute due to the 2010 census. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg that amendment be made to Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances, Title I, to Chapter 11 entitled City Standards, in particular, Section 1102, to read as follows. Section 1102, Councilmanic District Boundaries. The council shall be divided into 4 councilmanic district boundaries. There's a typo there, it should be district. Bounded as
Well, it can
follows.
be 2.
See attached Exhibit A. Did I go through the legal descriptions?
I don't have it in front of me. I was gonna say, I can read part of it if you want, but I don't have one here. Oh, okay. I don't know where mine went.
Legal description, District 1, beginning at the intersection of center line of US 50 East Parkway, the northerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, said boundary being more particularly described as follows, also being the northern line of the Lawrenceburg Fairgrounds, extended thence east with said line to the easterly right-of-way of the former CXX Railroad, now Greendale Levy property. Thence northerly along said right-of-way to the north line of a wetlands mitigation area owned by the Lawrenceburg Conservancy District. Thence easterly along said line 2250 feet more or less to the corner of said area. Then southerly with the east line of said area 2,160 feet more or less to its intersection with the north line of former Finley Alley. Thence easterly with said north line 471 feet more or less to the easterly right-of-way of CXX Railroad. Thence continuing easterly with the north line of Lot 5 of Squire Watts Estate, 669 feet more or less to the northeast corner of said Lot 5. Thence southerly with the east line of said Lot 5 extended 1,165 feet more or less to the Indiana-Kentucky state line, thus being the northerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg. Thus being the northerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg. Thence southwesterly with the riverfront boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, also being the Indiana-Kentucky boundary in the Ohio River, as established by the Supreme Court, defined using information recorded by final decree entered November 4th, 1985, Kentucky versus Indiana, and on file in the Dearborn County Recorder's Office to the south line of Section 22. Thence westerly along south line to the mouth of Tanner's Creek. Thence northeasterly 7,375 feet more or less with said center line of Tanner's Creek to a point. Thence northeasterly 1,451 feet more or less to the center line of Center Street, the northeasterly line of Mulberry Street. Thence northeasterly with the said center line of Center Street to the center line of Walnut Street. Thence northwesterly with the said center line of Walnut Street to the center line of Tate Street. Thence northeasterly with said center line of Tate Street to the center line of Elm Street. Thence northwesterly with said center line of Elm Street extended to the center line of US 50 East Parkway. Thence northerly with said center line of US 50 to the point of beginning.
You want me to do 2?
Sure.
Okay. Legal description, District 2, beginning at the intersection of the center line of US 50 Eads Parkway and a northerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, then southerly with said center line of US 50 to its intersection with the center line of Elm Street extended, then southeasterly with said center line of Elm Street to the center line of Tate Street, then southwesterly with said center line of Tate Street to the center line of Walnut Street, then southeasterly with said center line of Walnut Street to the center line of Center Street, then southwesterly with said center line of Center Street to the northeasterly line of Mulberry Street. Where is Mulberry Street? Then southwesterly 1,451 feet more or less to the center of Tanner's Creek, then southwesterly 7,375 feet more or less with said center line of Tanner's Creek to the southern boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, thence westerly with said southerly boundary, also being the south lines of section 21 and 22 Township 5 North, Range 1 West, to a corner approximately 3,486 feet west of the southeast corner of said section 21, thence northerly with a boundary of said city of Lawrenceburg, 1,528 feet more or less crossing US 50, thence northeasterly 238 feet more or less, thence northwesterly 774 feet more or less, thence with said boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg westerly along the boundary of Waterview Commerce Park, 1,082 feet more or less, then southerly 347 feet more or less to the east bank of Wilson Creek, thence northwesterly along said Wilson Creek to the west line of said section 21, thence northerly 2,455 feet more or less to the northwest corner of said Waterview Commerce Park, also being the northwest corner of section 21, thence easterly along the north line of said section 21, 825 feet more or less, thence northerly and parallel to the west line of section 16, 400 feet more or less, thence easterly and parallel to the south line of said section 16, 2,921 feet more or less, then southeasterly 728 feet more or less to its intersection with a line 500 feet northwesterly of and parallel to the center line of US 50, thence northeasterly 2,302 feet more or less with said line, thence along said boundary of city of Lawrenceburg, being northwesterly 862 feet more or less to the east line of section 16, thence northerly with said east line to the northeast corner of said section 16th, thence westerly along the north line of said section 16 to the intersection of said line with the center line of Tower Road, thence leaving said boundary of city of Lawrenceburg northeasterly with said center line of Tower Road to the center of State Route 48, thence southeasterly with said center line of State Route 48 to the center of Bilby Road, Old 48, thence curving with said center line of Bilby Road southeasterly to the center line of 3rd Street, US 50, extended, thence eastwardly with said center line of 3rd Street to the east bank of Tanner's Creek, thence northwardly with said east bank of Tanner's Creek to the boundary dividing city of Lawrenceburg and city of Greendale, thence northeast with said boundary as follows: northeastwardly 524 feet more or less to the center of a main railroad track of the former New York Central Railroad, Newton Branch, then northwesterly 214 feet more or less with center of said track, thence northeasterly 470 feet more or less, crossing the junction of North Main Street in Lawrenceburg with South Ridge Avenue in Greendale, thence northeastwardly 2,199 feet more or less to the north line of the Lawrenceburg Fairgrounds extended, thence easterly along said north line, thus being the boundary dividing city of Lawrenceburg and city of Greendale to the point of beginning. Your turn.
Legal description, District 3. Beginning at the intersection of center line of Purple Road with the north boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, also being the northwesterly corner of Shady Lane Estates, thence easterly with said boundary line, also being the north line of Section 4, Township 5 North, Range 1 West, 2,256 feet more or less, then southwardly along an easterly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg as follows, thence southerly along a line parallel to the east line of Section 4, 1,261 feet more or less, thence westerly 438 feet more or less, then southwardly 1,800 feet more or less to the center of a branch, then southwesterly along the center line of said branch approximately 588 feet to its intersection with the extended northeasterly line of Lot 9 of Grandview Subdivision Edition B, thence northwesterly along said extended lot line to the most easterly corner of said lot, then southerly to the most easterly corner of Lot 8 of Grandview Subdivision Addition A, then southeasterly to the most easterly corner of Lot 9 of Grandview Subdivision, then southwesterly 97 feet more or less to the most southerly corner of said lot, thence northwesterly 523 feet more or less to the southwest corner of said lot, then southerly 157 feet more or less to the southeast corner of Lot 10 of said subdivision, then southwesterly 239 feet more or less to the southwest corner of Lot 11 of said subdivision, thence northwesterly 193 feet more or less to the southwest corner of Lot 12 of said subdivision, then southeasterly to the north line of Crossroad Trails subdivision, thence along the boundary of said Crossroads Trails the following 7 courses and distances, thence easterly 234 feet more or less, then southerly 35 feet more or less, thence easterly 1,277 feet more or less to the east line of said section 9, then southerly 328 feet more or less with said east line of said section 9, thence westerly 1,196 feet more or less, then southerly 94 feet more or less, thence northwesterly 280 feet more or less, then southeasterly to the northwest corner of the city of Lawrenceburg property, formerly known as the Shinley Distillery property, thence easterly 1,007 feet more or less along the north boundary of said city of Lawrenceburg property to the northwest corner of the Lawrenceburg redevelopment property, thence along the boundary of said property with the following 3 courses and distances, thence easterly 397 feet more or less, then southerly 39 feet more or less, thence easterly 1,486 feet more or less to the center of Tanner's Creek. Then southwardly with said center line of Tanner's Creek to the boundary dividing the city of Lawrenceburg from the city of Greendale, thence eastwardly along said boundary to the east bank of said Tanner's Creek, thus being an easterly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, thence leaving said boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg and the southerly along said east bank of Tanner's Creek to the center line of 3rd Street extended, thence westerly with said center line of 3rd Street to the center of Bilby Road, Old 48, thence curving with said center line of Bilby Road northwesterly to the center of State Route 48, thence northwesterly with said center line of State Route 48 to the center of Tower Road, then southwesterly with said center line of Tower Road to the westerly boundary of City of Lawrenceburg, described as follows: westerly along the south line of Section 9, Township 5 North, Range 1 West, to the southwest corner of the southeast quarter of said Section 9, thence northerly along the west line of said quarter section 844 feet more or less, thence westerly 313 feet more or less, thence northerly along a line parallel to the east line southwest quarter section 9 1,796 feet more or less, to the south line of the northwest quarter of said section 9, also being the center line of Wilson Creek Road and the south line of Kennedy Addition, thus being a westerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg, thence easterly, then northerly with the said section of Wilson Creek Road to the center of State Route 48, thence northerly with said center line of State Route 48 to the center of said Purple Road, thence northerly with said center line of Purple Road to the point of beginning.
Legal description, District 4, beginning at the intersection of State Route 48 with Scenic Drive, also being a corner of the boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg and the northwest corner of Lehigh Acres, thence easterly along the center line of said State Route 48 to the west line of Section 4, Township 5 North, Range 1 West, also being the southwest corner of Ludlow Hill Estates, thence northerly along said west line 2,150 feet more or less, thence southeasterly 990 feet more or less, thence northeasterly 375 feet more or less, then southeasterly 631 feet more or less, then southwesterly 203 feet more or less, then southeasterly 197 feet more or less, perpendicular to Pribble Road, thus being the boundary of City of Lawrenceburg. Thence leaving said boundary of City of Lawrenceburg, southerly with said center line of Pribble Road to the center of State Route 48, then southerly with said center line of State Route 48 to the center of Wilson Creek Road, then southerly, then westerly with said center line of Wilson Creek Road, also being the south line of the northwest quarter of Section 9, thence with said boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg as follows: westerly along said south line to the, shut up, wait a minute, I lost my place here, said south line to the west line, thank you, of Kennedy Addition, thence northerly with said west line to the southerly line of Medical Office Campus, then with said Medical Office Campus the following: northwesterly 2,881 feet more or less, crossing the west line of said Section 9 and along the south line of the Dearborn County Medical Office Campus subdivision, thence along said subdivision, the following 2 courses and distances. Then, Leslie, will you take over?
Thence northerly
I don't know who this is.
425 feet more or less, thence easterly 809 feet more or less, to the west line of said Section 9, thence northerly 1,234 feet more or less with the said west line, then the west line of Hardwood Ridge subdivision to the northwest corner of said Section 9, thence westerly with the south line of Section 5, 1,673 feet more or less to the center of said scenic drive, thence northerly with the center line of said scenic drive to the point of beginning, thus being part of the westerly boundary of the city of Lawrenceburg.
Persistent people.
Where's Mulberry Street?
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it.
It's over by Lotus Warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, the back street, okay.
It's warehouse?
Yes, I am, I'm sorry.
At the end of High Street up by.
Sorry about that.
Where the levee's sitting on it.
Does that ordinance need a number?
Set back like alley thing.
I've never.
No, it's just an amendment.
Okay.
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 Need a motion to approve the first reading, ordinance number 4?
I move.
The second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who made the motion, please?
I did.
Okay. I thought you did, but I wasn't sure.
Need a motion to suspend the rules of reading ordinance number 4 by title only for the second time?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Reading ordinance number 4 by title only for the second time?
Amendment to the ordinance Title 1, Chapter 11 of the Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
Need a motion to approve ordinance number 4 for the second reading by title only?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion to suspend the rules, reading ordinance number 4 by title only for third and final reading?
I move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Reading ordinance number 4 for third and final reading by title only?
Amendment to the ordinance Title 1, Chapter 11 of the Lawrenceburg Code of Ordinances.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4 for third and final reading?
I move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
We'll do it now.
Really, I heard it.
Moving on to the ordinance for the Riverboat Fund and the Municipal Development Fund. I'll start with the Riverboat Fund.
Which one are you on now?
Riverboat Fund, which is,
Just at the bottom, page 105.
yes.
Okay.
And this is ordinance number, how did you have?
Is you on Riverboat? It'll be number 2.
Leslie, will you explain the changes?
Sure. Originally, what you guys passed the night, it's better just to show you, it's the blue one that you guys passed that night. There was a red one with a red banner on it. This is the one with the blue. These are the numbers you all agreed to, and what happened, I'm not sure what happened when it went to Hedden, but what they did was they split up the street improvements, the park improvements. They put in the off-road, or
Off right away.
Off right away concrete program in twice. And then the only other change, so if you look at, let me look to make sure I have the right, here we go. Under 560, line 560, which is page 3 of 5 in the middle, it should be weed and feed and landscape maintenance. What they had in there was weed and feed and homeowner repair program, which didn't make any sense. So,
Right, 'cause-
so I put weed and feed and landscape maintenance under 560, the 2 under 560.
So 560 is the correct for that, not 589.
Correct. So, but then I just swapped it with the homeowner repair program, put that down at 589, and the homeowner repair program.
So it's 589 now.
Then the ones after that, which are the Bilby Road Stabilization Industrial Drive and our unsafe housing off right away concrete program, those should be 590, 591, 592, and 593. Because they had those all under 589, and none of them really have anything to do with the other, so.
Okay, is the off-road concrete 589 or 582?
It's 593.
Starting with Bilby, what number was that?
590,
90.
591.
590, 591, 592, and 593.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I got a couple more questions, but you can keep talking.
No, I mean, that's basically it. What we did, what they had originally, they had spelled out the particular program, projects. For instance, under 459, which is unfinished projects, what you passed that night was a total amount of $1,207,200. We kept that in there under 459 as
unfinished
projects. And we just put the amount in. They had, I don't know how many they had. I can't.
So the amount that they had under 459 that was in our packets equals the
Yes,
line
it did
item
not change.
459, it didn't change?
No, the amount did not change. It's just how the budget was put together. Now, again, also under, if you see, look under theirs, it says 582. That is off the right-of-way concrete program, which was wrong.
Street improvements?
No.
582?
Right, wasn't that 582, Mike? Yes. I believe so. 582, we changed to just street improvements.
Oh, okay.
And what you guys approved that night under street improvements was 1.5. And so we put
Yeah, I just,
582, 1.5.
I just added that up and that equal out. And then you put all the parks together instead of
Yep.
separating them
Yep.
too?
583, we put 500,000. Because the thing is with these different projects, for one thing, they're all estimates. And, so if you have a fund where they're able to draw those projects out of that fund, regardless of, because if they only set, that, for instance, they had like 275,000 for the Boy Scout cabin and park project, that's just an estimate. Could be $30,000 more, could be $30,000 less. It just made more sense to put them all together. That way you can draw from that fund for parks projects. Besides, I mean, I don't know, and I think someone questioned the mayor last time about the fairground
Right.
thing. I mean, I'm not sure if those were particular ones that you guys decided to do. I'm not sure. You see what I'm saying? I mean, when we went through all the projects, I don't know where they came up with all those.
I think we did actually. I think the mayor decided on those three.
On those three?
Those three I did, yes.
Okay. Well, like I said, though, it would not confine their spending to this one project. They'll have parks projects, they'll have 500,000 to work with, or the streets projects 1.5. Obviously, they'll come back and, keep you apprised of all that, but,
I got a question on line item 487, stormwater improvement. $575,000. I thought we dropped that down to 500,000.
as far as the numbers.
3 projects in there that total 500,000, and then the 70,000 is for the actual operations and maintenance of all the existing.
Okay. I just wanted an explanation because I thought the number was 500,000.
Well, there were 2 of them, Jamie. One at 5 and one at 275. We did cut. We put both of them in one sum and dropped it down to 575.
And the unfinished projects that Leslie just addressed, 459. That's all the Mara Road, the Mara Field, the West High.
All the ones that are, those that are under contract.
Okay, so if I add all those up, that number will match that number.
Yeah, and when I did it, it was on a spreadsheet that had, it was in Excel. And so, I looked at the total, and when I changed it just to put that line item only, the $20,299,365 was still the number I got. And that's the number you all passed that night.
Okay, I got a question on, line item 557, demolition cost. Is that what the amount was dropped down to after we realized we had a $119,000 grant from the 10-county grant, or should that have been dropped lower? Or zeroed out? I thought we zeroed it out.
No, that's what it dropped to after the
I
119
think it
was
was
taken out.
250 or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
What, the 459, the unfinished projects county demo, what's that, the 10,000? That's on the.
That's why we put it all in one. I mean, that was part of the reason. I don't know as far as there are any more demolition costs over there for that county project or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's at two places now, unfinished projects.
Well, if you look on your original one in your packet, Doug, under unfinished business, they've got them listed out road by road by road by street. And they took those, they totaled them up, and it came up to that amount.
The $10,000 one under 450, that's the remainder of the contract for 68 Daddy Road and Store.
What's that got to do with county demo, though?
Well, see, I think there's a few typos.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I was saying, because the county demo, it was on the other side, and I was asking why it was in there twice.
10,000 is to complete that storm sewer project.
So it'd be a city demo then?
It's actually not a demo.
It's not a demo.
It's a typo.
Whatever you want to say, it's in a city.
What they did was when they took out that county demo, they were talking about the buildings down on High Street.
Yeah, I've got it.
That's correct. What's in?
Well, I just seen the county demo, that's the only question I was asking about it.
What line item was that again, Doug?
459. And that's several of them that are there, that's under the unfinished projects, but it just had county demo, and that's what my question was about, because we had the county demo on the other side, which was the 125.
Any more?
Just give me a minute, please.
So this is number 3.
This one's,
Yeah.
this one's 2, the next one's 3, yeah.
What is the correct, I think I may have already asked that. Okay, that one's okay. Okay, I'm good, Leslie.
A ordinance 2013, additional appropriation ordinance Riverboat Fund. Whereas it's been determined that it is not necessary to increase the appropriations in excess of what was originally appropriated in the annual budget. Now therefore, Section 1, be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit for the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named for the purpose specified, subject to the laws governing the same. With the accounts, I'm going to read just the last 3, if that's acceptable to council.
Yes.
It is start out as 284000110. Salary council is 10,000. 112 administrative assistant to 91,438. 113 salary mayor 16,000. 114 unemployment 25,000. 115 salary pool personnel 55,000. 117 riverboat longevity 10,650. 118 overtime 1,000. 119 human resources director 56,560. 120 sick pay incentive 6,000. 121 social security 58,472. 122 Medicare 13,674. 123 perf 94,310. 124 salary clerk treasurer 25,000. 126 city court wages full-time clerical B 45,719. 127 LERU part-time wages 30,000. 129 fire pay per run 25,000. 130 union pension 20,680. 131, Riverboat Clothing Shoes Allowance, 7,500. 134, Construction Project Manager, 72,946. 135, Utility Maintenance Employees, 147,000. 136, Engineering Title 15 Codes Director, 95,063. 137, Engineering Title 15 Codes Support, 45,718. 211, Office Supplies, 7,000. 224, Copier Maintenance, 7,000. 225, GIS Mapping, 25,000. Line item 236, Training Funds, 27,000. 238, Water Department Support, 125,000. 240, Employees Payout Retirement, 50,000. 242, Equipment and Computers, 25,000. 302, Electric, Water, and Sewer, 1 million. 312, Vacation Buyback, 25,000. 313, Survey Miscellaneous, 75,000. 314, Flu Hepatitis Shingles Vaccine, 4,000. 315, City Council Attorney, 125,000. 316, Legal Fees Services, 225,000. 318, A&E Permit Fees, 1,000. 321, Travel and Other Expenses, 10,000. 322, Postage, 10,000. 323, Telephone Fax, 125,000. 333, Business Card Stationery, $250. 335, Vehicles Liability Insurance, 500,000. 336, Workers' Compensation Insurance, 500,000. 341, Health Insurance, 3 million. 345, Heart House, 20,000. 358, Subscriptions Dues, 250. 421, Senior Housing Development, 250,000. 446, Annexation Utility Improvement, 1 million. 459, Unfinished Projects, 1,207,200. 460, Equipment Radio, 3,300. 472, Utilities Civil City Vehicles, 500,000. 478, Community Centers Operations, 600,000. 487, Stormwater Improvement, 575,000. 488, Parks Maintenance Fund, 1 million. 498, Building Monument Maintenance Fund, 1 million. 501, Fall Fest, 350,000. 503, City Christmas Lunch, Xmas Lunch, 30,000. 505, Winterfest, 115,000. 507, Remedial Operations, 125,000. 511, Police Canine Seminar, 30,000. 512, Vance Towsey House Operations, 10,000. 516, Main Street Association, 350,000. 522, Streetscape Maintenance, 80,000. 524, Traffic Control Safety, 10,000. 525, City Marketing, 45,000. 526, City Marketing Director, 80,000. 527, LERU Equipment, 30,000. 529, Capital Assets Update, 5,000. 534, Crime Stoppers, 10,000. 536, Fuel Expenses, 300,000. 537, Police Tech Equipment, 150,000. 540, Security Management, 25,000. 544, Co-Match to DCF Endowment, 100,000. 545, City Property Taxes, 15,000. 546, Drug Testing Expenses, 3,500. 547, WC Training Assessment, 5,000.
That's Workman's Comp.
549, Vehicle Repairs, 20,000. 552, Mayor's Assistant Redevelopment Director, 82,560. 553, Redevelopment Projects, 1 million. 554, Veterans Programs, 20,000. 555, Greendale Cemetery Maintenance, 10,000. 556, Green Team, 10,000. 557, Demolitions Costs, 125,000. 558, Rental Inspection Fees, Unsafe Building Maintenance, 15,000. 559, Laserfish Upgrade, 10,000. 560, Weed and Feed, 20,000. 560 again, Landscape Maintenance, 75,000. 563, Building Commissioner, 75,175. 568, Fire Department Health and Wellness, 25,000. 571, Child Advocacy Center, 100,000. 576, HR Certification Fees and Seminars, 5,000. 579, Mowing of Various Lots, 7,500. 580, Criminal Checks Business License, 300. 582, Street Improvements, 1.5 million. 583, Park Improvements, 500,000. 584, Walnut Street Bell Clock Tower Arch Rehab, 55,000. 585, Fall Fest Upgrades, 25,000. 586, Hollywood Gate at East High and William, 30,000. 587, Lotus Property Fence, 10,000. 588, ADA compliance, 80,000. 589 is what we added, homeowner repair program, 100,000. 590, Bilby Road stabilization, 30,000. 591, industrial drive cleanup, 21,000. 592, NR unsafe housing trash, 10,000. And 593, off RW concrete program, 1,494,600.
Keep that running from 89 to 991.
For a total of 20,299,365, right, Les?
Yes.
Okay.
For
Motion to approve the first reading, ordinance number 2.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion to suspend the rules, read ordinance number 2 by title only for the second time.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Read ordinance,
Ordinance number 2, 2013, additional appropriation ordinance, Riverboat Fund.
reading ordinance number 2 by title only for the second time.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve ordinance 2 for the second reading by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Additional appropriation ordinance, Riverboat Fund, ordinance number 2, 2013.
Motion to suspend the rules, reading ordinance number 2 by title only for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Reading ordinance number 3, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Four
Sure.
Reading ordinance number 2 for third and final reading by title only.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2, 2013, additional appropriation ordinance, Riverboat Fund.
Motion to approve the ordinance number 2 for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to ordinance 3, 2013, which is additional appropriation ordinance, municipal development fund.
Okay, there were no changes on that one, right?
No.
Oh, this is a long page.
I got a question on 554, the grant sewer project for City of Aurora. I thought we was going to split that right down the middle.
We did.
Why'd we?
We gave them a little, after we got through all the budget, we were able to give them a little bit.
Okay, so it went from 200,
Number, yeah.
2,250,000.
2,450,000 is what we proposed last week.
Well, this year, the next year, they get the other half.
They get.
A little less than half.
The balance of it.
Right.
2,050,000.
That was what was in the budget y'all passed too, though.
I'm okay with it if everybody else is okay with it.
Okay.
Whereas it's been determined that now necessary to increase appropriations in excess of what was originally appropriated in the annual budget, now therefore, Section 1 be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same. And again, I'll read the account numbers that are attached, the last four numbers. Account 28001239, Riverfront Garage Operations, $220,000. 1310, Services Consultants, $300,000. 1311, Adult Center, $60,000. 1361, Franklin County Revenue, $500,000. 1500, Library Improvement Bond, $615,200. 1506, Special Crimes, $175,000. 1508, Council Donations, $20,000. 1509, New Scholarships, $100,000. 1510, Old Scholarships, $300,000. 1515, Dearborn County Schools, 4 of them, $2 million. 1517, Housing Grants, $100,000. 1518, 10 County Grants, $10 million. 1519, Dearborn County Chamber, $26,000. 1521, Dearborn County Foundation, $2 million. 1551, RDC High Street Row House Sprinklers, $45,000. 1554, Grant Sewer Project, $2,450,000. 1556, CASA Funding, $160,000. 1562, City Calendar Project, $15,000. 1563, Cell Phone Money, $50,000. 1564, Garage Training, $2,000. 1565, Legal Publications, $25,000. 1566, Garbage Trucks, $275,000. 1567 recycling program, 100,000. 1568 union arbitration costs, 20,000. 1571 electric capital improvements, 661,849. 1572 water capital improvements, 1,015,000. 1573 sewer capital improvements, 600,000, for a total of 21,835,049.
Motion approved, first reading to ordinance number three.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to suspend the rules for reading ordinance number 3 by title only for the second time.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Additional appropriation ordinance municipal development fund ordinance 3, 2013.
Motion to approve the ordinance for the second reading, title only.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 3 by title only for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Additional appropriation ordinance municipal development fund ordinance 3, 2013.
So moved.
Read ordinance number 3 for third and final reading by title only.
We just did.
We did
Motion
that.
Okay.
Approve it for the
Motion to approve
final.
ordinance number 3 for third and final
Jane made
reading.
the motion. You need a second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
Glad that's over.
Okay, Leslie, you have copies, you want them to sign? Both of them? Send them, you can send them your way first, and then we'll send them up here.
Okay, we have any old business?
I have a couple things.
Go ahead, I only got one.
What do you want to do?
Can we get the mics over here on the fire EMS
Yes, we
and
need 'em.
police?
We were waiting for money to.
You got it now. All right, I'm just asking.
And we probably ought to get that portable mic fixed too, in case there's two people wanting to talk. Okay. I agree, and fix that machine. Idiot-proof it, on and off switch. I mean, nobody can ever figure that thing out.
It was just the mouse went out tonight.
Okay. So we got Doug?
Yes.
But I think Mike had
Mike
something.
got something?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I'd just like to follow up with, was the paperwork turned over for the federal subpoena that was requested? That taken care
Yeah,
of?
most of it. We've got a little more to get, but they're gonna,
So
we're
it's
gonna
not
call
complete.
them. No, but it didn't have to be. The FBI paperwork,
Yeah,
they
that
got the
was a-
majority of it.
I just wanted
On
to,
the
Yeah.
29th, they came, Neil Freeman from the FBI came. He was really nice, really gracious. We did have everything for him except for some checks that needed to, fronts and backs of checks for some years, and we gave him copies of the ones we were missing.
We got about a quarter of theirs too.
Okay.
They're doing the really old stuff.
And then the only other thing we had was the bond bank stuff, which in full, considering the loans and the grants and the concrete program and the stuff ARA does for us, we had
How
all
many
that.
boxes did he take?
7. There were 7 boxes. But he came down, it was kind of funny, he came down with this big old box truck. They are thinking that we have a lot more records, I think, but we really just have the bond bank stuff. Connie's been working with the clerk's office to
Yeah.
get that done. So.
I've got part of it done. We've still gotta do a little more.
Yeah,
He's okay with that.
Yeah, he was good with that.
just
Extending
wanted to
it.
follow up with that. One other thing.
Well, I told the FBI to go jump somewhere.
Uh,
Here you go. Okay, thank you.
There was an article in the newspaper that I found disturbing, about Destination Brookville LLC. It was a $600,000 grant that was awarded. And after that article, and then I researched a little farther, I think the article in Dearborn's paper said that Judd McMillan's father was registered agent. I searched a little farther, I guess his mother's one of the owners, his business partner is one of the owners, and his dad's best friend is one of the owners. That was not disclosed to us. I also got the minutes from the grant committee, and it was not disclosed at that meeting. And another concern I have after researching is a big part of it's for a restaurant. And it's been told several times that the 10 county grant money is not for restaurants. So with all this information, on one other thing I had, it's to renovate an old building, which to me falls under redevelopment. And I was told last week when I questioned a $500,000 money that Franklin County gets, that was for redevelopment. And if that's the case, if they want to spend their $500,000 to revamp that building, that's what they are to do with theirs. But I think this board should consider repealing Resolution 9-2013.
9?
Yes. That's the number I have on it.
Speak to that, Grant.
Grant's been working on this.
For one of the things, just so you know, the resolutions got passed. None of the, well, I don't know if any of the interlocals have gone out, but what I did when I got done with them and they were signed by our end, I did give them to Mr. Hughes because he had some concerns about some of them, that being one of them.
And one of the things I would like to say in the future, I believe that this board should be given the grant application so we know exactly what it's for. Because if I would have been aware that it was for a restaurant, I definitely would not have voted for it. And second, it should have definitely been disclosed of the relationship. And then I would even like to go a little farther because I'm a little aggravated over this subject. You know, when we discussed giving property tax relief to our citizens, Aaron stated, he talked to our state representative. He said that's not what we should be doing with our money. The state's going to look down on it, come down here and take the money. Then when we're talking about because of federal subpoena, let's put the brakes on and review and make sure everything's legal before we move forward. He's at this podium, to me, giving us a guilt trip. But it's okay to give his mom $600,000 of these people's money, but we can't give these people property tax relief. I got a problem with it.
Yeah,
very aggravated.
The money hadn't been awarded.
But I'm trying to stop it before he does get it. I'm asking to repeal Resolution 9-2013 to see to it that he doesn't get
You've
it.
been up on this with him.
I know. Okay. All right. Your comment about the 500,000 that goes to Franklin County.
You're right.
Do what?
You're right.
Okay.
You guys need to.
The 500,000 that goes to
That's okay.
Franklin County, that money goes to the county. It does not go to Brookville, just to clarify that. And the status of this project that you're referring to, Designation Brookville, we were going through the due diligence. We needed more information. No money has been sent to Brookville Redevelopment Commission. There was discussions at the meeting regarding it. That is why Judd McMillan abstained from voting. And
But he did not disclose it at a public meeting.
okay, but he did not vote in a public meeting.
But he did not disclose it neither.
Okay.
And he's on that committee.
Grant, I had talked with you and the mayor this past Friday, and there was no mention. It was basically saying it was friends. There was nothing else that went any further into it, and I didn't like that idea because I sat on that board.
Right. I don't remember relations. I remember that his comment, yeah.
Other than it was friends, that was about it.
Yeah, there's friends involved in that, and that's why he abstained. So
In articles I did read on the internet, there was one that said it was disclosed, and it was not disclosed.
okay.
Unless somebody's got different minutes than I got.
No. As
I
far
know
as
it wasn't disclosed to
as far as the relationship, no. But anyway, no money has been sent. This is where the due diligence works to the advantage of Lawrenceburg, and more information has been requested. And that's the status of it. So it's, and the mayor discussed that maybe this needs to come back up in front of the committee and review it in detail.
Because for the time being anyhow, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 9-2013 is repealed.
Have a motion on the floor, here, second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
I'd like to have more information
That's what I was gonna.
before I vote on it.
Maybe just put it on hold. I mean, if you guys want to go and vote on it, just hold maybe for like a week or two till I can look more into it myself. I'll even call Judd himself, and ask.
But I mean, we done took a vote.
Roll call,
I
please.
said what I said.
Okay, just a second. Jane?
Yes.
Okay, Aaron?
No.
Okay. Bill?
No. More
Okay.
information.
Mike?
Yes.
Doug, yes. Okay.
Yes.
It
Ayes
passed,
have it.
yes.
Repeal that one. Okay,
That was just a resolution,
resolution,
9/2013.
Yeah.
you all want to know business?
That's all.
No, I do have one thing. I was asked by Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Taylor at the beginning of the meeting you guys got a copy of the salary ordinance, and the changes we made were written in. If the council allows me to, I can make a clean copy, which would just be the first 3 pages for the benefit of the clerk treasurer and as our official record of the salary ordinance.
Would you get and pass it back out to everybody over there, the same thing?
And then,
So I guess I probably need a motion to do that.
and then I asked if we could initial each page, so that way nobody could ever say that it was changed or anything.
Okay, we can, and do you mind if I keep this one? I get one. I don't know why I didn't get one, but.
We'll put that in
Okay,
motion.
I'll make a motion that Leslie change the salary ordinance for the handwritten changes to typed in changes, and everybody review it and initial each page that they agree to it.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Do that.
No more old business.
I got some, Leslie, I'm sure you haven't had time. And it's okay if you haven't. Considering the temporary and the part-time employees on the 90-day.
Yeah, I still haven't had a chance to do that, but, I definitely need to sit down with Mr. Provost, so next time, well, and then in connection with that, get a copy of the arbitrator.
Yeah, I've got. I know
Yeah,
it's
we
on
gotta get a
file up
copy of
there,
that
but it was in the
arbitration.
last administration that did this. I'll look back through his paper and find it.
Okay, thank you. And then, have you come, well, I'm sure you haven't had time to do this either, but has any contract been written up for the city marketing director?
No, you wanted a resolution, correct?
Right,
Yeah, I can have that done definitely for the next meeting.
okay.
It would just be a resolution to, and
That
I
it
need to
comes
sit,
back
I need to
before-
sit down with Mr. Hughes about it.
That it comes back before city council for final approval.
It would actually go for the Board of Works, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, but I want a resolution that it comes back before city council, that's what my motion was.
Okay.
Well, we agreed on that with the marketing director, they would come back before city council.
Okay.
But the Board of Works has.
That's fine, but I mean, as far as the,
As far as you reviewing it and
Yes.
passing it on to Board of Works.
yes.
So that would be a resolution. But yeah, I will have that done for the next meeting.
Any more old business? Hearing none. Any comments from the audience?
I do.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Connie Canoe, and this should have probably been last meeting, but I got a utility bill from my daughter, and I talked to Mr. Davis today, and he passed it on to Julie. And the meter at 431 St. Clair was not read for 6 months. The machine was not picking it up. So it picked it up this month. Now I have a $581 bill to pay. So, I questioned Julie if they was gonna buy new equipment, and she said no. I said, I think we need a new meter or something. Because she said it just didn't pick nothing up. It was a zero reading, so she just got, my daughter lives at that house. She just got the minimum billing, so.
That would.
Mel, would it be okay if we worked out a payment plan with no late charges
Right.
Well,
attached?
Well, like I said, Julie said she could make payments. My daughter is late every month on her utilities. She has a hard time paying them anyway. So we're adding more to her.
Yeah, that's when you and I were discussing the electric rates, and I haven't had a chance to review that yet.
This
so.
is the water. I think they should have caught this.
Pardon me?
I think they should have caught this before now.
Why, I mean, that was what I was.
She told me the
getting at, is why did it
machine,
take
when
6
they
months?
was reading the meter, the machine was not picking it up.
As soon as I do some investigations, Connie, I'll get back with you.
Maybe some adjustments be made on that?
As soon as I get some investigating done.
Well, I don't know how she's gonna pay it, so.
Okay, thanks.
Mel, until your investigation is taken care of, can we make sure that she does not incur any late fees?
Sure.
Or late charges?
Sure.
And I do agree with you, Mrs. Canoe, that the equipment should have been working.
I
and it
think the
shouldn't have
meter
took
man
it-
should have been able to pick that up after 2 months if it wasn't reading.
Well, I could see if it
Something
misses a
should have
month.
said
and-
something, you
Yeah,
know,
but
so.
6 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Connie.
Anybody else in the audience?
Satch.
Satch.
I'm not in the restaurant business, and I got a question. I think you guys have got a policy that you're not gonna help anybody wanting to bring a new restaurant to town?
That wasn't our idea. That wasn't my idea.
Is that so, well?
That was redevelopment.
That's what's been told to us about the grant committee.
Well, I mean, I'd like you guys to reconsider that for one reason. Give you an example. I know there's gonna be help out there for different things. I got 4 employees. Mike might have 10 or 15. There's different businesses in the area that's got small amount of employees. I can't hardly believe if you don't go up and down US 50 that the restaurant businesses aren't probably, they have to be either number 1 or number 2 on the list as far as supplying jobs. I just can't see how you can eliminate them from a little help here and there. I don't have any ties in it. This doesn't have anything to do with Judd McMillan. I agree with you. But to put a blanket on this whole thing, I hope you guys think about that a little bit.
As Paul, that didn't come through city council. That came through redevelopment. They said they were.
That's 10 county grant, isn't it?
You know, I know there's been some things here, and I know there's some hard feelings on some money that's been put in some restaurants that's come and gone. Truth is, guys, there's gonna be things that you do that don't always work out all that great. Look at what you did, improve on it. Don't shut it down because of it. You know, there's a lot.
That's why I feel, you know, if we're not gonna give to anybody here on theirs, why should we be giving to Brookville for a restaurant or?
I agree with you, but my point is that I feel like that the decision was made that you know, I would personally think that a big part of developing this downtown would be the restaurants.
That's just the 10 county grant program they're talking about. They're not talking about like redevelopment. That's just the 10 county grant. It's not supporting
I
them.
hope so, and I think if there's anything there that they can help, because there's a lot of people that need that restaurant type of job. You know, not all of them can go to the Proximos and the MGPs and the different machine shops and stuff and get a job. So as far as an economic development goes, I mean, I worked in the restaurant industry for 20 years plus, and I seen the amount. I mean, there's every restaurant you got here in town, I guarantee employs probably 30 to 80 people. So you got to be thinking about them a little bit.
I'm not on that.
Said though, that the 10 county grant, that's more economic development as far as, and it stayed away from the restaurants or tried to. Because of that, as far as bringing in.
But why would they?
Well, you're talking about as far
I'm
as.
just saying, you got a restaurant coming to town that's gonna supply 50 to 100 jobs, why wouldn't they think about helping them?
What I'm saying is that's where that came from, as far as 10 county grant, is what it's been at.
Okay. Well, I've just heard it mentioned in a way that I thought, well, if somebody approaches you, and I don't have no plans of coming in here and approaching about no restaurant, but I just know how good a restaurant can be for the community and how many people need them kind of jobs.
If you do, could it be a steakhouse?
We need one.
Thank you, Paul. Any more? The audience?
They used to even do it too.
Okay, review and discuss claims board approval.
So move.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We still can't get off 2 4 meetings.
Hey, Garrett.
Leslie.
Garrett.
I'll let you sign the ordinance.
Cancel it.
The amendment.
That's what they said, but I think they found out we had a bunch coming.
Yeah, well, no, I only have one, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry.